Today, we are diving deep into chess openings, but we're going to go beyond the book. We're talking about a smarter, more intuitive way to play, one that will seriously turn that opening confusion into real confidence at the board.
I bet you're nodding your head right now, aren't you? We've all been there. It is one of the most frustrating feelings in chess. You spend hours doing your homework. You memorized, I don't know, 10, 15 moves of the perfect line. And then boom, move 4, your opponent plays something totally weird that you've never seen before. And just like that, all that hard work feels completely useless. Sound familiar?
Well, there's actually a name for this problem. It's called the engine trap. And it's this idea, this illusion, that we as humans can somehow play the opening like a supercomputer. But here's the thing. We can't. We're not built for that. And trying to do it, that's exactly what holds so many players back.
So in this explainer, we're going to break out of that trap. Here's the game plan. First, we'll look at the memorization trap itself. Then, we'll build a totally new foundation with what I call the 3 core pillars. After that, we'll learn the secret language of pawns, figure out how to punish your opponent's mistakes, and then finally, we'll wrap it all up by showing you how to build a smart, efficient repertoire that actually works for you.
All right, let's kick things off with part 1, the memorization trap. We're going to get right to the heart of why our brains are just, well, they're not supercomputers, and you'll see why that's actually a really good thing. So, look at this. On one side, you've got the chess engine. It can store millions, literally millions, of positions without breaking a sweat. It sees that tiny little plus 0.3 advantage and knows exactly what it means. But then, there's us. Our brains have this thing you could call a memory leak. We forget stuff. And more importantly, we panic when things go off script. The what-if factor totally throws us. See, we're not built for memorizing. We are built for understanding.
Okay, so if memorization is out, what's in? What's the answer? Well, we have to replace all that rote learning with a solid, reliable foundation. And that, my friends, is where the 3 core pillars of good chess come into play.
These are the big 3. These are the principles that are behind every single solid opening out there. Number 1, center control. You got to fight for the middle of the board. Number 2, rapid development. Get your pieces off the back rank and into the game fast. And number 3, king safety. You have to get your king tucked away somewhere safe. Seriously, every single good opening move you can make serves at least one of these 3 goals. It's that simple.
And this right here, this is a perfect example of a golden rule, especially for rapid development. Here it is. Don't move the same piece twice in the opening unless you absolutely have to. Why? Because every time you move a piece you've already moved, you're basically wasting a turn. Chess players call that losing a tempo. And that's a turn you could have used to bring a brand new piece into the fight. Stick to this rule, and your development will be super efficient, almost automatically.
Okay, now we're getting to the really powerful stuff. This is next level. We're going to talk about the secret language of chess, and that's the language of the pawns. I love this idea. They are the skeleton of the game. They give the entire board its shape and structure.
And this is such a critical point. So many people miss this. The pawn structure you set up in the first, say, 8 moves, that's not just a temporary thing. Oh no. It literally defines the battleground for the next 30, 40 moves. It tells you which files are yours to attack, where your pieces should go, what your long-term plan is. Understanding this is what true mastery looks like.
Let's take a classic example, the IQP, or the isolated queen pawn. You see this structure all the time. Now, you could go and memorize 100 different opening lines that lead to an IQP, or you could just learn the ideas. What are the plans when you have an IQP? How do you attack? And what do you do when you're playing against it? How do you blockade it? See, that one chunk of knowledge is way more valuable because it works in dozens of different openings. It's about learning the structure, not the move-by-move sequence.
All right, so you get the principles, you get the pawn structures, but how do you actually use this stuff to win games? Well, this is the fun part. This is where we learn how to become detectives at the chessboard, always on the lookout for mistakes we can punish.
So here are some classic tells you should always be watching for. An opponent bringing their queen out way too early? Great, you can develop your own pieces just by attacking it. Or maybe they get greedy, grabbing a free pawn but falling way behind in development. Classic mistake. Or how about this one? They break that golden rule we talked about, moving the same piece twice and just giving away time for free. And of course, the big one, completely ignoring the center. If you can learn to spot these, you can grab the initiative and never let go. And honestly, this is the ultimate payoff right here. This is why we're doing this. When you play based on principles, you are never truly lost.
Your opponent can play the weirdest, most offbeat move you've ever seen, and it doesn't matter. Because you understand the fundamentals, you can just calmly sit back and ask yourself, okay, which principle did that move just violate? And right away, you'll know how to take advantage of it. That's real confidence.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually put this all together into a repertoire you can use without spending hundreds of hours buried in books? Well, the answer is a really smart, minimalist approach. We're talking about system-based openings. So, what's a system opening? Think of things like the London system or the Hippo. They're perfect for what we're talking about. Instead of having to react to every single little thing your opponent does, you focus on getting your own pieces into a standard, solid setup. The whole game shifts from "what move do I play now" to "what's the plan from this setup?" It's all about understanding the plans, not memorizing the move orders. And the best part? You can pick a system that fits your personal style, whether you're aggressive or more of a solid player. You know, this all comes back to the 80-20 rule. It's so true for chess openings. You can get 80% of the results by spending just 20% of your study time on this stuff, focusing on core principles and one or two simple systems. It really is about studying smarter, not harder. You're investing your precious time in understanding plans and ideas that will help you in every single game you play, no matter what your opponent does.
So, that brings us to the final verdict. The big question. After everything we've talked about today, what's the one thing you should take away from this? What should you be thinking about the next time you sit down at the board?
I think this quote, even though it's paraphrased from an engine, just says it all. You know, an engine can memorize millions of positions, but we can't. And if you memorize a move without knowing the reason for it, you're just playing a game of luck. You're gambling that your opponent walks right into your prep. But if you learn the principle, now you're playing a game of skill, and that's when you're truly playing chess.